Greetings, join us. Okay. I'm not about to continue like this, but so there was an earthquake in Morocco that I didn't even know about. It was like about 10 days ago. I might have heard something. I mean, you always hear about some kind of earthquake or some kind of situation where like 3,000 people died, and there's like a media blackout on it. So even the whole thing in Iran, I don't really have a full understanding of that. I haven't really dived into that, but the only reason I'm bringing up Morocco is because of what happened there, and just who the hell knows about this. So yeah, same thing to do with Libya. I didn't know about that either. So now Morocco happened before. So just one media blackout after the other. So the earthquake energies, yeah, it's it's a tough call on that, but the Earth is shifting. Not that the polar, ice caps or pole shift. It's just the world's shifting, and just it has to do what it has to do. You can call it manipulation from whoever, and there might be some of that. You can't blame the government for everything. Of course, there's some that's going to keep doing that. And more power to you on that one. It's like with Russell Brand. I'm not going to talk about him again, but Russell Brand. I mean, he has been seen as a loser before, so I don't think they're really trying to expose him. I think he's did a lot of things he probably isn't proud of. Or some of the spiritual community are going to continue to back him, but those aren't all fake, or maybe none of them are fake. The allegations, so it's a bit of a witch hunt. But then again, the roosters have to come home eventually. So yeah, well, defend them all you want, but I don't know if he can swing himself out of this one. Only thing I can see him is confessing and just like, yeah, I was a scumbag in the past, and now I'm trying to clean myself up. Or he can just lie and say it's all fake, but I seriously doubt it's all fake. But, who cares? It's none of our business, really. It comes down to it. But the Morocco thing is kind of a big deal. Yeah, 3,000 people. And of course, the U.S. isn't saying anything. If it happened in the U.S., to be crying forever. Well, then again, with Maui, they talked about it for like a week, maybe, then didn't care anymore. So, yeah. So there's that. Yeah, I wouldn't blame everything on the government. It just, Maui was a little bit very suspect, but you can't blame everything. Like what happened with Libya, they're just incompetence, and there could have been a lot of forces to fix that, and there wasn't. So yeah, there's definitely some manipulation there for the whole 5 cities to go into the sea like that. And to continue with positivity, going to Pope Pius, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. It's the Nazi Pope. He just showed up in the news knowing about the Holocaust. Yeah, he's definitely paid off. Yeah, I don't know the whole story on it. I don't know anything about it, but either way, we'll just tap into those energies and just, he's practically a Nazi himself. I imagine the Catholic Church is talking about this constantly. I'm sure they're trying to forget it. Just like everything else they're trying to forget. Yeah, it's definitely what a sellout looks like. But he got away with it from what I'm gathering. It feels like he did. During those times, yeah, I imagine it came out after he died, or probably came out during his life, but probably more came out after he died. So yeah, he's a fun one. It's like, yeah, he's kind of like a devil being, not in a good way though. And there's devil beings, but that's not a good one. Yeah, piece of shit basically. I think it just there. Part of it just feels like, a Nazi sympathizer. I'm assuming that's why, just to to add support to the Germans is what I'm getting from him, and just a complete and utter sellout. Yikes! But it's good. This is going into the light. It's being talked about. Of course, many might not want to hear it, but it's still a big deal. It makes the Catholic Church look great. Not to say that the spiritual community is anything to jump up and down about. It's got when you have like people saying that they're galactic ambassadors of the Earth, we got issues here, or some kind of weird Anki relationship romance novel thing going on. Spiritual community's got its issues. It's got major issues. Mental illness beyond our understanding. So I imagine Anki's appreciating all that. Well, he likes the attention though. If you want to give your power away to him, so be it. You want to be in a romance novel? I don't think he cares. If you look like you're crazy doing it, probably. Whatever. I imagine Yeshua has his own little, he has his fan club too. So, and this is a new one. A city of Nan Madol, something like that. It's out in the Pacific. It's out in the out in the Pacific Ocean. It says megalithic. I guess so. All you see is ruins now, but it is kind of. I think it was around the 1600s when it was built, and they can't figure out where it came from or how they even did it. So it's it does feel alien. There's some reptilian energy, but it is just alien. No, that makes sense. I mean, it's an island in the middle of nowhere. And settlers, either they can download knowledge from the higher dimensions, which is easily possible for sure, and there's probably it just connected more to their they needed it and they built it. Let's put it that way. It feels like it wasn't just one; there were several involved with it. So, and they could have just been the tribes that live there. They don't really know anything, so. First if I've ever heard of it. So we're going to tap into that energy, and that should be a little bit more higher vibration. I don't think there's any sacrifices or anything. I think they just built a fancy home and nobody can figure it out. So that's a good thing. But not well known at all. Well, you have to be in the Pacific to see it. It's not like it's like the pyramids of Mexico. We can just, hey, look at that. It's not that easy. It's not entire comment, private sessions, a scheduler, a shop here, webinar session hour behind the scenes. Then we have, go into. I don't need to show Morocco. I think people would have an idea what happened there. I can show Morocco if it matters. So this is Nan Madol or Madol, whatever you it's constructed in a lagoon, consists of several series of artificial islands linked to a network of canals. Just mystery. Anyway, it was built in the 1500s or 1600s, something like that. It's here somewhere. Oh, well, I guess it's built. I'm not sure if they know. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it built in the 1100s. Oh, okay. That makes even more sense. That's one of their images. There's not much to really look at when you. It's not. It's not exactly. There you go. I think that's yep. It's just mostly just ruins. It's not that. It's fascinating. Oh, I guess Ancient Aliens has been there. Is that what it looks like? Oh, this is the first I've ever heard of it. Ancient floating city built by the giants. At least that's what they're saying. And that could easily, or just just tall people. I do feel like some of them are tall and skinny, so they come in 7 or 8 foot tall. It's not really making. I guess because they just did some reconstruction of it, because all they're showing here is ruins. So let's see, map. Let's see if there's that's the. I guess that's all. Yeah, that's interesting. They say it's all alien, but well, they tapped into higher dimensional knowledge. The vibe I'm getting is just these are just highly evolved people. And you can say it's alien in that regard of what they're tapping into. Not that, but it feels like these are human. Now they might be aliens. I'm not getting a full alien energy there, but this really helps give an idea of what it looks like, because looking at the ruins doesn't tell you anything. It's like, hey, look, a bunch of rocks. And this is like a huge society. It's like you wouldn't know that looking at that. It's all, run down, basically. So they just reconstructed it, which makes sense of giving us an idea of what it looks like. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. But, they get into superstition and all that. They kind of over, and this is where it is. I imagine there's a lot of people going out into this area. Take a nice little splash out in the middle of freaking nowhere. And they did some of the atomic testing out here too. I don't think they did it here, obviously, but they did it. I forget where they did it at, but yeah, because they're dropping bombs, hydrogen bombs out into the into the islands a while back, in the 50s and 60s. Fascinating. Yeah, when you zoom in on it, so it doesn't really tell you much there. Then you got Morocco. I guess they're having another earthquake situation now. Yeah, just fucked up. It's messed up. The earth is shifting for sure. I would say even with the dam, but this is more showing the shift that's going on. So, hard to say where things are heading into, but uncharted territories. All right. Well, for 3,000 people to cross over, obviously it's an exit that they agreed to. And I imagine all the ones that wanted to crossed over during it. And others survived just to show that how life can be gone in a second. So it helps them get their life in order if they need to. Look at it that way. Talk about a wake-up call. Of course, we just had a hurricane that came by and it did nothing. It did well, but it did nothing as what it looked like it was going to do. So I just kind of stepped back to see what it does, and it did nothing. So more power to you on that one. So, all right, we're going to Morocco energies, the earthquake frequency, the Pope Pius, or however you pronounce his name, and the Megalithic city. So, Megalithic city, I don't know. Obviously there's an alien frequency there, but I still feel like it was made by tribal people or just, like I say, highly evolved. And we don't have all the clutter that we have. Like, we don't have CNN. We don't have Joe Biden walking around with no brain. We don't have those things, so you can think clearly. We don't have Nancy Pelosi crying all the time. So, like a cockroach that's been stepped on. So, lucky us, huh? Lucky us. Yeah, these are good times to be alive, right? God, jeez. Slime of the earth. We get to see all that. Okay. At least we have that, right? Nothing to write home about, but at least it's something. So, all right. We'll tap in, and here we go. Blessings. Greece. This is the energies of Mother Earth. But the energies that's occurring, yes, the Earth has to shift like anything else. Like your body has to shift, your chakras have to shift. As you change, the world changes with you. And yes, many are those in those situations, those that live there are aware of it astrally. Now, not everyone listens to get out of the area to survive. So some of those, not all, some that died, yes, were not paying attention to their instincts. Guess there could have been lives that were saved during that, but that's the lesson that they, you can say, chose to once it was too late. So there's yes many lessons to be learned there, but there are yes many wondering if God is against them. No, it's just that the earth has to change its frequency every now and it's like a volcano. As you know, the earthquake and yes, it's not government manipulation. They can only do so much. The earth can fight back against that. Doesn't always, but there are some lessons that need to be learned here. If the government is involved, but they're not always doing everything to the earth. They have to keep this place somewhat stable. They don't have that much power to destroy it, even if they do try, but it comes back to them. So, but those that survived are really that are in Morocco are definitely reevaluating their lives. Those that need to come out, many are going through a victim mentality. Not all, but quite a few. Others know they can get through this. And yes, they might feel like God is against them, but God is also there for a rebuilding. So, and which will occur. As long as they don't give up, they will find salvation. They will rebuild. Just like with Libya also. So it's a challenge of the soul. I mean, everyone has challenges. Yes, the U.S. has the decay in society, not in all places, but there are certain. Well, where the U.S. is having trouble is the homelessness. Just many just gave up. They just gave up. They just instead of improving themselves, they gave up. And you can say they did try, but some of them just easily gave up and decided just to be, lazy. So they're connecting. Some of them are connected to their alien roots, where they can just do nothing. And there are some that are trying to be, go against society, but others just gave up. Just literally just gave up. So as some of you could probably pick up on that. But as long as you don't give up, be surprised what you can accomplish. So within, as some of you know, those like with heavy ego, they always worry about what others think. When you have to downgrade, you have to sell something or get something repossessed, or it's life. Just doesn't mean you have to feel good about it, but just keep moving forward. You'd be surprised what you can accomplish. What's this? Greece used the energies from the astral about Pope Pius. Realize the astral is very neutral, but Pope Pius just gave himself away, literally gave his soul away for riches, wealth. He felt like he was lucky at the time. He probably does not feel very lucky at the moment. He lives with a lot of shame because there are many souls looking at him and looking down on him. And he could have done so much good instead he did evil. He could have actually helped a lot of souls escape the Holocaust. He could have did a great deal. But that is why he was compromised, because he can do good. Of course, he chose not to. And you can say he lost his soul. So don't expect him to incarnate here, at least for a while or ever again, because he is just as guilty as many of the Nazis are guilty. And of course, the Catholic Church is looking the other way. Obviously, yes, they have a lot of corruption they have to deal with, and they're not about to do it. There's a lot of mafia connections with the Catholic Church, as some of you know. It doesn't mean it runs the Catholic Church. We say the Catholic Church runs the mafia. As some of you can probably see that. And there's Anunnaki connected to that, of course, because Anunnaki just likes jewels. They like luxury items. It's nothing to brag about, but that's something that they enjoy. Yes, they don't care if they lose their souls either as part of their growth. Yes. But as for the Vatican itself, it's not losing power as of yet, but realize, yes, it can move into other areas. Eventually, it'll start to acknowledge aliens if it absolutely has to, but it's going to control the narrative there. It's aware of it, but it's not ready to, because it will most likely condemn it as evil and do all those things, the fearful energies, most likely. But they will speak more about it when the time comes. Blessings. Grease you. This is the consciousness of the city in the Pacific, and then Madol. Yes, higher dimensional beings, fourth dimensional, but physical beings. Yes, they can access higher dimensional knowledge. Realize many of you that are out there are tapping into these realms. If you're in those situations, you can. It was basically a collective consciousness that built that. Those canals built all that. And it did take a long time. There is some ancient Atlantean energy, also Lemurian, but mostly Atlantean. At least ancestor frequencies. And the only reason they built it because they needed it. They visualized it, message from the gods, you can say. And some of you might actually remember being there, at least in some form or another. Fourth dimension, maybe physical. It was not an easy life, but it connected to their energies. It felt protected there. It just felt like they needed to build it for protection reasons, but also just that they can keep their vibration high for as long as they can. And then eventually the villagers died out. There's some of them around, but not as powerful. Basically, it did what it needed to do. It connected to the Earth's frequency. It was basically bringing energy to the Earth. And once again, I'm most likely, well, first off, some of you know you've been in positions like this in the past, especially ancient Egypt, Mexico, and other sacred sites around the world. The jungles of the Amazon, which is ancient secrets that probably won't, the Amazon's being kept quiet for obvious reasons. There's a lot of things there that I don't want you to know about. You hear about it, but you don't really see anything about it. But it's an open secret, you can say. And from what we feel, those of you who are tapping into this message currently have had some kind of incarnation, some kind of connection to the Amazon. And doesn't mean you can see it clearly. It's definitely many of you from Peru area, South America, and the higher realm, whereas the ancient realms. Realize Peru was invaded by Atlanteans and built it up, and many did die there. As it became more of a, not necessarily they were of the negative, more like the more spiritual connections. So, of course, he went to other places around the world. Angkor Wat is also another place of the Atlantean frequency. So these energies here basically it's an awakening for yourselves. To tap into it, it's just, you don't necessarily have to know the history of it, just feel the vibrations of it. You might get images, but it's basically just a knock at the door of your fourth dimensional self to allow more of that knowledge to come to. But realize, we believe many of you, if you're in this same situation, you can see the same images, like you're on an island and others are getting downloads of this type of, city to be built. Depending on your abilities, yes, you can see it also, and then how to do it. And you probably have no construction skills whatsoever. So that's how they did it. They're just away from civilization, but they created their own civilization, very protected. And he said that that city was to protect themselves once again. So this is